Just please don't make Glass suck. Please, M. Night, please. I'll buy like 10 copies.
It's amazing to meet you. It is simply extraordinary.
So I just saw the new M. Night Shyamalan movie Glass, and I gotta say, I have a very love-hate relationship with M. Night Shyamalan. I mean, I loved Sixth Sense, I loved Unbreakable, I loved Split. I love to hate The Happening. It's hilarious, it's incredible, it's terrible, it's everything I ever wanted and it's so bad it's a good movie. The Visit was awful, The Village was a mixed bag, but then The Last Airbender and After Earth were terrible. So, M. Night Shyamalan is one of the least predictable directors working, possibly ever. So I had no idea what to expect. I went in with very low expectations because I knew I was either gonna love it or hate it. I loved Unbreakable and Split, and I have not watched or seen any reviews for this movie. So I'm just gonna talk about what I saw and not what other people saw. I loved it. I really came away happy at the end of this movie. I was so relieved by what M. Night Shyamalan did. I was so impressed. I loved it. I loved the characters. One thing that I was afraid of was that making a sequel 19 years after Unbreakable, I was afraid that the characters wouldn't feel like them. But I see David Dunn and I see Mr. Glass and I see David Dunn's son, and those are the characters to me. They were written so incredibly well. It must have been so hard to write these characters that you haven't written for in 19 years. That's really impressive to me. And just like those characters, Kevin and the characters from Split just feel so much like them. It's like no time passed between those movies, and it was just so impressive to me. And another thing I loved about the characters was just the chemistry between all of them, especially the chemistry between Mr. Glass and Kevin. Those characters had incredible chemistry with each other. I loved seeing Glass trying to turn Kevin onto his side, and how Glass interacted with every single one of those multiple personalities that he has. And it was just so impressive and so well done, and partially due to incredible writing and partially due to incredible acting. The writing and the acting for these characters is done so extraordinarily well that I was so impressed. I'm just floored by this movie. Particularly, I want to talk about James McAvoy. His acting is Oscar worthy. It's incredible. He goes from one character to the next in flashes. Literal flashes, if you've seen the movie. Like, he needs to pretend to be a 9-year-old boy 1 second, and then the next second he needs to be this older woman, Patricia, and then he needs to be a frat bro. And he just does all of this so fluidly and seemingly so effortlessly. With his voice and his body, he's just such an incredible actor, and I just need to give him the respect that he deserves for it. And Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis were also incredible. I'm so happy to see Bruce Willis back in an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Whenever these guys work together, they always make something awesome. I loved Unbreakable, I loved The Sixth Sense, and I was just so impressed by that. And I was so impressed by seeing all these characters from different movies and different stories coming together and it all feeling so fluid. I was expecting like a jolt or it just not to feel right, like those, like the episode where they brought the Simpsons and the Family Guy characters together and it just felt so stupid. In this movie, they did it incredibly well. And the story just felt like a logical continuation of the previous two movies. Other things about the film, the cinematography was awesome. I was blown away by the cinematography. They have a great use of colors. They use security cameras to show you what's going on. They have these rolling dolly shots, particularly one where it was dollying into this pink room. You're gonna notice it when it happens. It was stunning looking. The set design was awesome, which definitely helped for the camera work. And they had really nice aerial shots that, again, they didn't really need to do, but they did it anyway, and it just made the movie look so much prettier because of it. Another thing I noticed that was really impressive was the sound design, and people don't usually notice sound design when they're watching movies unless it's either really, really good sound design or really, really bad sound design. I thought it was incredible in this movie. The bones, when they break, you hear them, and it's incredible. When there's a punch, you feel that. When there's a kick, or when the beast is climbing up walls, you feel every single one of those. And I counted how many times I winced. I winced 6 times, and that's due to not only incredible sound design, but incredible tension building and directing by Shyamalan, and I was just so impressed by that. But my favorite thing about the movie has to be something that I can see a lot of people hating. But it was my favorite aspect, which is the movie respects your intelligence. The movie never dumbs anything down for you. The movie never holds your hand. The movie just expects you to know what happened in Unbreakable and Split, and then the movie continues as if you know what happened in those movies. And as someone who loved Unbreakable and Split, I loved that, because it would have felt so unnatural if the movie had just taken a second to stop and create a scene that's essentially recapping Unbreakable or Split. There's no previously on M. Night Shyamalan. There was none of that. And I loved it, but I can totally see someone going to see this movie having not seen Unbreakable and Split and being incredibly confused. Because if you haven't seen those movies, you're going to be confused by this. And I feel like with a lot of sequels, they cater it so that you don't necessarily need to see the previous one in order to enjoy it. And I always feel like they're dumbing it down just for the majority of people. And as to where this one, Shyamalan really made a film that respects your own intelligence and doesn't think that you're stupid. And I loved that. And just assuming that you understood the movies, for me, someone who understood those movies and watched them and loved them, I loved it. And I really appreciated that. But I could totally understand if you go in here and haven't seen one of those movies and you're just confused. So overall, if you are a fan of Shyamalan, if you liked Unbreakable and you liked Split and you just liked the good movies that Shyamalan has made, you're gonna be really happy with this movie. If you don't necessarily like Shyamalan's movies, or if you haven't seen Unbreakable or Split, you're probably not going to enjoy this movie. And also, it's a very unique superhero movie, which is another thing that I enjoyed about it. But I talked to people leaving the theater, and most people liked it, but some people did say, I wish that it had bigger special effects and grander superpowers. This isn't that kind of movie. I loved the subtlety and the small scale of this movie because I'm so bored of those giant city CGI battles with big blue beams in the sky. It's just so boring to me now. And seeing this small scale superhero movie was just so well done, and with great camera work, great suspense building. I was such a fan of this movie, and looking back onto it, I cannot think of a single complaint that I have about it. So I am going to give Glass an A+. I hope you like Glass. Go see it this weekend. I definitely recommend it. Obviously, I liked it, and I can't wait to see it again. Subscribe for more. I'm going to make more videos, and I'll see you next time.